Yeah, that
Richard.
everything he just said was very stupid. So this is going to be a very easy debate. I'm sorry for you guys that we're hoping for something very exciting. He just crushed his own argument in the first minute. I'm facing a guy that owns 10 to 20 times more not gold things than gold things because he knows that those things are better assets. He says that gold holds value over time. It doesn't. Here's a chart of gold adjusted for inflation where you lost money for 40 years. 40 years you lost money. 40. If you had bought gold 10 years ago, you're down today. You lost money from 10 years ago, not even inflation adjusted. So for a guy that doesn't even talk his own book, literally starts the conversation with, I don't even like this stuff enough to own more than 5 or 10% of it, it's going to be a very easy debate to win. And the charts, the facts are on my side. I got good news for you. Just because gold is a terrible investment, I may even own more than Peter with my $250,000 gold watch or my gold trinkets. I understand what gold is supposed to be used for. Gold is used as jewelry for 50% of its market cap. Go on Wikipedia, look up gold. You'll see that 50% of the sales of gold is for jewelry. And what is jewelry? It's just vanity. And what could be more willy-nilly and prone to fancy than vanity? So gold that he doesn't even believe in enough to own more than 5 or 10% or recommend anyone own more than 5 or 10% is backed 50% by people flexing and looking silly. I look silly on purpose, right? So, I mean, you want to see the hex chart? You want to see what the hex chart looks like? It ain't looking like this. Here's what the hex chart looks like. Only up and to the right forever. By the way, copper beat gold. You bought gold 5 years ago, you would have been better off with copper. Copper that you can actually use. Peter says gold, well, I don't want to crush all his arguments ahead. I could just beat all his arguments now. What he's going to say is gold has value, Bitcoin doesn't have value, which is instantly defeated by the fact that you can exchange Bitcoin for gold. I remember back when Bitcoin cost less than an ounce of gold, now Bitcoin costs 20 times more. You could have bought, in the top of, I bought Bitcoin at 30, I mined it at 50 cents. In 2013, it went up to $1,300, which was the price of gold. An ounce of gold was worth less than a Bitcoin in 2013, 2014. Now, an ounce of gold is worth 20 times less than a Bitcoin. And so the fact that you could turn Bitcoin into gold at any time you want, I think his company even accepts Bitcoin to turn it into gold, disproves his idea that that Bitcoin has no value. And I don't even like Bitcoin. Bitcoin destroys the environment just like gold does. 50 to 60 people just died yesterday mining gold. Yesterday. How many people died mining Bitcoin? So this is the reality that we live in. I've already won the argument. It's just a question whether the audience gets to notice.
If you're finished flattering yourself and congratulating yourself, first of all, yes, I just because I think that gold should be a small part of a portfolio doesn't mean I don't like gold. I just said that gold is not an investment. Gold is like cash. And right now, I think there are a lot of very good investments around the world that I want to own. Now, if I had a choice between just the NASDAQ and gold, I would own all gold. But those aren't my choices. If my choices were all gold or all Bitcoin, I would own all gold. If it was all gold or all hex, I would certainly own all gold. I would own no hex. I would own no Bitcoin. But when I look around the world and I see a lot of good companies trading at very low valuations and paying very good dividends, I want to own those assets. I don't want to have everything in gold. Now, if things were a lot more expensive, I might want to up my allocation to gold, but I would never include hex in my allocation. I mean, you want to talk about what gold's done over a particular period of time. Well, yeah, if you bought gold 5 years ago, you had a great return. It's up 90% over the last 5 years. Over the last 10 years, no, it's about flat over 10 years, but go over the last 20 years. 20 years ago, gold was less than 300, and now it's 1,900. So that's a pretty good return. Now, if you want to say, oh, what if you bought gold at its peak in 1980 at 800, you have a lousy return. Go back 10 years earlier and you bought it in 1970 at $35 an ounce and you had an incredible return. So you can always pick and choose whatever time frame is convenient for you. But the reality is you're so excited about how much hex has gone up. Hex is down about 70% from its peak. So there are people who bought hex who are down 70%. Nobody is down anywhere near 70% in gold. And the people who have made money in hex haven't made anything because they haven't sold, because they've lost locked up their hex in your scam of a CD. You've conned people into taking a worthless currency that you create for nothing, and they've agreed not to sell it, so you can keep unloading yours to the people who are foolish enough to think there's a free lunch, and they're going to get rich in your pyramid scheme, but they're not. They're going to go broke, and eventually they may come looking for you, because all the money that your followers are going to lose is the money that you're making. And we'll see how the authorities feel about that when you end up in a court of law, because I know a lot of the people who lost money are going to be looking to have to try to claw back some of their losses from your winnings.
So what Peter here is doing is called a parade of imaginary horribles. So to the best of my knowledge, no cryptocurrency founder has been imprisoned for creating a cryptocurrency. Satoshi, who created a cryptocurrency... I
didn't say imprisoned, but I think you will be sued. But go ahead.
Okay, so let me give you an example of a company that created a cryptocurrency and got sued. Unregistered security offering, Tezos, got sued, settled. EOS, unregistered security offering, raised $4.2 billion, settled for $27 million, and got a waiver to continue operating their business. And the reason the SEC is friendly towards and settles with these companies is because they actually do care about the investors, and the investors don't want their money back because they all made money. People that bought EOS at the ICO made money and are still up today. People that bought Tezos at the ICO made money and are still up today. And so this idea that people are going to want their money back is factually false, provably false by SEC jurisprudence, by SEC case law. And
they're only going to want their money back after the coins crash.
No,
nobody wants their money back when they're winning. It's after they crash and lose their money that they want it back. So we haven't finished this game yet. The air hasn't come out of this bubble yet.
Peter's talking about buying gold a long time ago. Gold was down. If you had bought gold in 1980, it dropped 70% until 2000. You were down for 20 years.
Because the 10 years before 1980, it went from 35 to 850. So it had a spectacular rise, and it never went back down anywhere near $35 again.
Peter,
so
you can't say...
just look at these time windows and talk about, and I've already said, gold is not a long-term investment. I never recommend gold to anybody as an investment. It is a store of value. It's cash. Instead of sticking dollar bills under your mattress, you can have gold coins. They are much better to hold than fiat currency. But over long periods of time, you want to invest your money and let it grow. Gold doesn't grow. It just holds its value. It doesn't
even hold it, man.
Accrue value. It doesn't gain value.
You're down versus 10 years ago. Value. You're down versus 40 years ago, inflation adjusted. You're down versus almost every time frame. Well, Coins made an afternoon as a joke outperformed.
Gold is up this year. Bitcoin is way down. Your Hex coin is down this year. Gold is up.
No, my Hex coin's not down this year. No, Hex is up this year. No, it's not. You have a bad memory.
What did it end? What did it end last year? I saw it was as high as 49 cents, and I just checked it. It's 15 cents.
Yes.
So where did it end last year?
Hex went up 1,000,000% in 2 years.
Where did it end 2021? Where did it end 2021? December 31st, 2021.
Here's the Hex chart. December 31st, 2021 was 6 cents. Actually, half of a cent, actually, based on this chart. This is why I bring charts.
So it went down from 49 cents to 6 cents, and then it snapped back up to 15 cents?
No. Basically went from...
I just looked at the chart on CoinMarketCap. I don't know, is that not the actual chart?
It's a good site. Yes, CoinMarketCap actually has an accurate price chart, but you have to click log in the bottom right corner, or else it doesn't make sense. So when you compare an investment that isn't even an investment. Peter just told you not to invest in gold. It's not an investment. It's just a risk-off asset to just sit in until you get into something that's good.
Well, it's a store of value. It's a monetary equivalent. It's like holding cash, except instead of dollars or euros, which are just fiat, creations of a central bank, you can hold real money, which is what central banks used to hold. All these currencies used to be backed by gold and redeemable with gold. But the world has moved off a gold standard to a fiat standard. But if individuals prefer the gold standard, they can do it themselves. They don't have to hold government paper as money. They can hold the real thing. They can hold gold.
But the thing is that you suggest people do hold government paper. You just may not be aware of it. So Peter and I, you'll see. I'm going to show you. Peter and I actually agree on some things. We both think that the government printing money left and right forever is disgusting and steals from savers. Do we agree on that?
Yes.
Okay. We both think that the value of the dollar over time is going to zero, literally zero. Charlie Munger agrees with us on this. Do we agree on that?
Well, it may go to zero, but it may approach it. It's
Okay.
already practically zero based
All
on
right.
what it was worth in 1913. So,
I think Peter and I both agree that we like people to self-custody their funds so that they can't be robbed by their banks. So there was some political activity going on in Canada where if people even sent money to other people so that they could buy food and eat, their bank accounts were seized under emergency action, as though there was some giant emergency, like a war was going on. Everyone else has it bad everywhere else in the world right now, and yet there's no emergency actions in those countries. But Canadians are having their bank accounts seized, and I don't think Peter likes that. You don't like that either, right? That sucks. We agree on that?
no, I do not like what the Canadian government is doing, not at
Yes.
all.
So Peter and I are both for self-sovereignty. We're both for people not being robbed by the government by holding the government's dollars. By the way, Peter's camera's frozen, so if you want to pan to me, my camera's not frozen.
It doesn't look like it's frozen to
Oh,
me.
you just came back on. Yeah. Okay. And then, well, it's just when I'm talking, they're showing you. It's weird. No one sees me talk. Unless you're seeing something different on YouTube, whatever. So the point is, there's things we agree on, right? And we both agree that stocks have been wonderful investments, which is why he promotes them. But there's a trick to stocks that people don't understand. When you used to buy stocks, you used to get shares in companies, and they were physical printed shares. And now when you buy stocks, you don't get the shares. Your broker gets them. But guess what? He doesn't even actually get them. A giant company in New York called the DTCC actually holds everybody's shares. And every once in a while, they do an audit and they discover, oops, people have been trading shares that didn't actually exist because neither you have the real shares nor your broker. And then the DTCC, maybe they have them, maybe they don't. And it's a giant house of cards. And you just hope that if when you go to get your money, they don't give it to you, now you have to sue them and you're basically relying on the government to handle custody for you. And it's very similar to gold. I've got $4 million of watches. They're mostly gold. I know that platinum's a better metal for making watches from because I can use 95% platinum to make a watch, why it says 950 on it. But on a Rolex that has gold, it's only 75% gold because they have to alloy it with actually more useful metals to make a watch out of it. And
They're
so
not more useful. They have different
very more
properties.
useful.
They're not more useful than gold.
everything
By
is
the
more
way,
useful than gold.
If you have $4 million worth of watches, maybe in those watches there is $40,000 worth of gold. I mean,
Correct.
maybe about 10%.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's not, they don't, so you
And
don't
they've
have-
outperformed
most of
in
the-
appreciation
but-
from gold
no,
as well. All of them.
but most of the value in a watch is due to the craftsmanship, the making of the watch. The gold is used
really.
because of its properties that make the watch better, that make it last longer, that make it look prettier. You can go swimming with the watch. It's like, it's going to resist the water. There are a lot of characteristics of gold that make it appealing in jewelry. It's not used in jewelry by accident. It's
I
used
might
because
own more
it's
gold
very
than you
good.
do. Like literally. I might actually
Who
own more
cares?
gold than you. Well, probably
I don't
people
know, how
watching.
much do you own? I don't know.
I'm telling you
talk
right
a
now.
lot. I have no
I'm telling
I
you
have
right
no
now.
idea.
If you go on my website, I name my YouTube videos, and you scroll down to the info, I have the model numbers and prices of all the watches I hold. I got $4 million
Who
of
cares about
watches.
how
I
many
got 20 of
watches you
them
own?
because they're made of gold.
I got
My
gold
necklace is
watches
made of
too.
gold.
Who cares? I don't splash them all over my website.
I think
I've
it
got
sounds
one.
like I'm promoting gold.
One. I'm wearing one, but I don't like flash them on my YouTube channel to show everybody that I got gold. But I wear them.
Okay. All right.